Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishnah's Sotah, Parak Dalet, Chapter 4, Mishnah Hey, Mishnah 5. Now, the Elu Shebeist in Mekanun Lahem. These are the women that the rabbinical court will warn them. Meaning, until now, the warning comes from the husband. And in these cases, the warning will come from the rabbinical court. Who is that? Mishna is Charesh Paila. Excuse me. Mishna is Charesh Baila Onishtata. One whose husband became a cheresh, meaning a deaf mute, or a nishtata, or became insane, such that he is legally incompetent and his warning does not have any legal significance. So basically, he's lost his competency, his mental competency, and therefore he can't. His warning would have no legal significance, or he lost it, or he became insane. Or he was in jail. So you've got these women whose husbands are basically in some form or another incapacitated from warning them, and they are misbehaving. Therefore, the Bezdin goes and warns them about going into seclusion with a specific man that she may be acting inappropriately with. Now, so that's what the court does. It warns her. But now the question is, how far-reaching does this warning go? You know, if a husband warns and then she doesn't listen to the warning and she goes to seclusion, what happens then? He takes her to Yerushalayim, to the Beis Hamikdash, and he goes through the process of the bitter waters. What about here? What about here where it was the Bezdin, the rabbinical court, who gave the warning, and she went to seclusion? What comes out of that? So says the Mishnah, Loi lahashkaisa amru. They did not mean that when they said that the rabbinical court can warn her, it was not to give her to drink. They will not be able to give her the bitter waters to drink, because that can only be done by the husband himself. Ella lapaisla miksubasa. What it does is it invalidates her from her ksuba. Meaning, what it does is it makes her forbidden on her husband, and because she's forbidden on her husband and she can't drink the bitter water, she's going to lose her ksuba. That is how far it goes. That's how far-reaching the warning, that's how effective, rather, the warning of the court goes. Now, how about, let me ask you a question now. How about having the Bezdin warn her, and when the husband gets out of jail, he'll give her a drink? But what's going to be the answer? The answer is going to be, but he didn't give her the warning. And the only way you can bring a woman to drink the bitter waters is if you give her the warning too. And therefore, there's really, being the Bezdin sees she is acting inappropriately and decides that she needs to be warned, and she doesn't listen to the warning, there's no solution. Nothing you can do about it. Even the husband, when he comes out of jail, or let's say, he comes out of his insanity, he now wants to give her the drink. He didn't give her the warning. And by that point of time, it's too late. She went into seclusion, she became forbidden. Rabbi Yosi Omer, the sage Rabbi Yosi, says, Aflash kaisa. No. He disagrees, and he says that the Bezdin's warning would be able to give her the drink. But not that they themselves will be the ones bringing her to drink. Rather, the Chayetze Ba'al Mebeis Asurin, when her husband gets out of jail, Yashkana, he will give her the drink. He will give her to drink. According to Rabbi Yosi, you don't need that the same one who gives her the drink was the one who warned her. And therefore, as long as the warning was administered by the Bezdin, and now the husband can bring her to drink, it'll be the husband that'll bring her to drink. So that's the argument between Rabbi Yosi and the Tanakama, and the first opinion. And I don't see anywhere where it says who the halacha is like. I don't see where anybody says that. But that's the point of argument. The point of argument is, do you need that the one who warned her should be the one who gives her the drink? Now, couple of interesting things that the Bartanur brings down is that I just realized, just saw it. The Ein halacha Rabbi Yosi. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yosi. So at the end of the day, when the Bezdin warns her, she will not be drinking. Now, the Bartanur continues with a couple of interesting things. Another examples. And so here it's like this: Vesuma eina mashkas ishtai. A man who's blind cannot give his wife to drink the bitter water. Why is that? Shenamar me'enei isha, ishta, me'enei isha. Because the pasuk says, from the eyes of her husband. She has committed something away from the eyes of her husband. That means eyes means he's able to see. So that means if he can't see, he's excluded. Giving her to drink. It would mean that if he warned her and she went into seclusion, she would be forbidden, but he couldn't give her to drink. And again, based on a derivation from the words of the Torah, whatever says that he can't give her to drink, she wouldn't drink if she had the same defect or the same issue. So let's say she's blind. He'd give her a drink. Another example, if she is either lame, she can't walk on one foot, or she's missing an arm, or she cannot speak, that woman is also excluded from drinking, because the Torah talks about the woman saying, the woman responding. If she's mute, she can't respond. The Torah, it talks about that she holds the meal offering. If she doesn't have an arm, she's not going to be able to hold it. So therefore, there are, again, places from the Torah to derive where, because of her, there would be no drinking. But the same thing would apply once we know that something says about her that she can't drink. It also says about him, the husband, that he can't give her a drink. So let's say he's blind and she's not. Let's say he's mute and she's not. He still can't give her a drink. So all these different defects that say that either he cannot give her a drink or she would not be drinking because of that. That's the Torah telling us what people are exempt. Those defects, those issues would apply by each one. The Torah may have said it by one, but there's another source in the Torah that says that whatever applies to her applies to him and vice versa. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.